Luke, thank you very much for joining us. By gosh, you've been through a journey in the last 24 hours, haven't you?
Yeah, it appears so. I haven't read the whole paper at ODT today, but it appears there's some more articles. Just an ongoing sort of an event by the sound of it.
Let's go back. You are Federated Farmers spokesperson and representative. You've been elected by your fellows in the rural community. You live in the Otago region. At what point did you become aware that the Otago Regional Council was going to change the rules as to how that they were going to deal with treated wastewater?
So I guess you go back to the draft, the initial draft. I don't know what number draft we are up to. We haven't actually seen the latest draft. We're not kind of privy to it under the way things are designed. But yes, it's kind of stage one draft. The interpretation from the councillors and staff of Te Mana o Te Wai formed that opinion that, yes, indeed, any water that is passed through a human must not be discharged to water.
Right. And so that, as you understood it, was for largely cultural, spiritual reasons. Locally, we had said that was offensive to them. Is that your understanding?
I don't actually know if that came directly from iwi. I couldn't comment on that.
Well, it doesn't come from anywhere else. I mean, seriously, Pākehā people don't worry. We don't worry about the fact that you're doing that from a cultural reason, do you? It's not part of Pākehā culture.
Well, but that's it. I couldn't. I don't know if that's where that initially came from. But yes, it's of Māori belief. I understand.
Yeah. Okay. Now, the practical intent of that would be, you're saying, as I understand, that it would mean that a whole series of small communities that have small wastewater treatment plants treated to a high standard, it's meant to be treated to a high standard anyhow before it's discharged anywhere, they will have to start building separate plants to treat the water so that they can discharge that then to land. Is that correct?
That's our understanding. Yes, it's not an argument around the quality of water coming out of these plants. It's then, as we've seen in the paper today, the Clutha district has investigated at a high level of purchasing farms to discharge said water to, which does become difficult in itself because under the current rules, nothing can be harvested off that land for food production.
Oh, really? Okay. So the moment that I put human waste, even if it's treated human waste over it, then I'm not allowed to use it for agricultural or horticultural purposes either.
Yeah. So say you're on a septic tank system or what have you, and obviously they need maintenance. That actually all has to go through treatment plant nowadays, regardless of what that quality of product is. You cannot, animals for human consumption or production can't be on land that is done for that. Okay,
so just to cut to the chase here, your suggestion or your allegation or your observation, perhaps be a better way of it, is if regional councils, and Otago is no different than any other regional council in New Zealand, it's just a little bit ahead of the game in terms of progressing Te Mana o Te Wai, is that potentially billions of dollars will be required to create new treatment plants for the intent of discharging this. And already the Clutha District Council Mayor has been quoted in this morning's paper as saying that they are investigating, as I understand, buying dairy farms so that they can actually, which cost a lot of money, so that they can build these treatment plants and then discharge that waste to land. Is that your understanding?
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of why we're highlighting the point to for more district councils to, if they have their figures, obviously there's quite a few that have actually done some high-level numbers because there's certainly going to be some concern there as the district council is going to pay for these things, not the regional council as such. So, and the government has indicated that they're looking to address some of the the wording and the makeup of the Te Mana o Te Wai or the RMA and a few of these things, we think it's prudent that we use the time frame wisely that we've been given as an extension rather than fighting this in court afterwards, which could be tenfold the cost to get right.
Yeah, so your argument again is that the Otago Regional Council is but one of a number of regional councils throughout New Zealand, that because they are dominated, I would anticipate, by left or green councillors and governance, are going to plough on with the last version of Te Mana o Te Wai, which came out of the Labour government, despite clear indications from this government that they intend to change the planning rules so that common sense might prevail, yeah?
Yeah, and that's it. And from the last version of what we saw of the plan, that is likely the case.
Now, the Chief Executive of the Otago Regional Council is quoted as saying in the newspaper this morning that they're not going to do that. What's your response?
Well, intrigued to a degree, as we've been also asking for some more indication or consultation on where the draft plan is, and it's kind of declined. But yeah, interesting to see that they're publicly saying some parts of the updated plan that we have no idea what it looks like now.
Can I say though, just to give you a little bit of ammunition, the Central Otago District Council are under the assumption as well that they are going to have to discharge to land, and they are costing that in the hundreds of millions of dollars to have to do that, because they have a number of small sewage treatment plants throughout their district, from Roxburgh to Omakau, to Cromwell to Roxburgh, to Brenfurley. So they're under the impression that you're under as well. It's not just you.
Yeah, and like you said earlier, that Clutha District has come out today, and they've also said that this idea is going to cost the ratepayers and general public significant amounts of money if we ram it on through.
What's your view? Do you have a view that no wastewater that's passed through a human body, even though treated to a high standard, should be discharged back into local waterways?
My view is if that said water that's being discharged is of absolute pristine condition on drinking ability, then
what's the problem?
To me, what's the problem? We've got that, stormwater does the same thing. It's just I'm happy to have the discussion, but there needs to be a 32 report done on costings. I'm happy for everyone in the general public to have a discussion around this, but we need, the metal hits the road when we find out what it costs, right?
Well, and the other thing is there would need to be some pretty clear environmental evidence, you would suggest, that when wastewater is treated to a high standard, that there is environmental damage before you start imposing hundreds of millions of dollars of costs upon district and city councils in this country, wouldn't you?